One of the ways that I've coped, we all do it. We try not to think about certain things and keep ourselves distracted and keep ourselves busy. And he still inspires me. He still continues to take me to different levels, to higher levels.
Andrew Brugal's life was perfect. He traveled the world, he maintained good grades, and just about everyone adored him. But in December of 2007, Andrew's life was put to a halt when he was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer. And 9 months later, Andrew lost the battle.
Oh, Andrew was the most down-to-earth person, the most exciting, the most passionate person you would ever meet. He would make a big deal out of the smallest little things. Since he was a baby, he was full of life. He was happy, he was joyous, always excited about any little thing, very grateful.
Well, with me, it was different just because we became not only best friends, but he called me his brother, all that stuff. And his mom was my house was the only place his mom would let him sleep. He'd never let him sleep out. But with other people, treat him like he treated me, friendly, not as close, but he was nice to everyone, never was mean to anyone, never talked bad about anyone.
Prior to being diagnosed, Andrew was also the perfect student. He maintained high grades, and his service to the community exceeded just about every other student in South Florida. He was even featured on the NBC network for his outstanding spirit to volunteer, while also raising hundreds of thousands of dollars in charity donations for various foundations.
He served on Miami Children's Hospital on the board, on the teen council, for almost 7 years, since he was 10 years old. He was probably the youngest member on that board. So his charity work wasn't just raising money, even though he raised millions and millions of dollars here in South Florida, but most importantly, to speak up for the ones that could not.
When Andrew was 16 years old, he published a book on his life, complete with pictures of friends and family, as well as a prayer he wrote himself.
Heavenly Father, I release any anxieties pertaining to this organized occasion of his 16th birthday celebration. I will rest in your loving arms, knowing your perfect will and purpose will bring peace and success to all the planned activities for the day.
His dedication to school and volunteering earned him hundreds of awards. He made a huge impact on everyone he reached out to. However, there was one teacher who left a huge impact on him.
Well, he was a student, just like any other student, but what I noticed about him immediately, even before I knew he was ill, was the fact that he always just worked so hard. Every brief he handed in, really most students would hand in a one-page brief, he would hand in a 5-page brief. Sometimes the briefs were longer than the cases he read themselves. And just always trying 110%. If he didn't have an A in the class, he would come to me and argue his point over and over and over again about why he should receive an A. He was just a fighter. He was a hard worker and he was a fighter.
The love for the law that he had for people, all that truly came from her. So as I started seeing my son evolve into this beautiful young man, I could see a lot of her traits, a lot of her qualities.
Midway through his senior year, Andrew was diagnosed with blood cancer. His persistence to live a normal life was incredible. Though he was in and out of the hospital getting chemotherapy, Andrew still attended school and maintained his high grades.
Once we came back from Thanksgiving vacation, he said, "Mama, I cannot walk. My legs hurt, my back hurts." He couldn't walk. But even like that, he went to school. And every step he would take, he would cry because the cancer was already all over his bones.
When I found out he was ill, I couldn't believe how he'd come to my class shaking because he was so cold, because he had just given blood to have tested a few times, near passing out, but he just was that motivated to come to class and to learn, and just be like a normal teenager going to school and learning. I could not believe how his drive just didn't stop. He continued to do his work. In fact, he insisted on completing on the day they were due because he just didn't want to be treated any differently.
Andrew had affected Miss Cooper so much that when she decided to run her first marathon, a year and a half later after his death, she ran in honor of him. In addition, she raised $5,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Well, I signed up for this marathon over a year ago just as a personal challenge. Just one of those things in life I just want to check off as done. And a friend of mine actually had told me about Team in Training, and that was a group that helps train you, and in exchange you help raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And as soon as she told me that, I was like, wow, how great is that? Because here is this student, Andrew, who inspired me so much and meant so much to me. What a great way to do something great for a disease that took him away in his memory, and at the same time, of course, had the benefit of this training.
And now that I've gotten so close to her, with all the different things that Andrew had after he passed away, I asked him, because I knew he was going to pass away, I knew he was deteriorating. I said, who is your favorite teacher in the whole world? And he said, Mrs. Cooper. So I'm really grateful to Mrs. Cooper because she has gone the extra mile. She also learned from Andrew. And all this time I thought, wow, Andrew just wants to be just like her. He talks like her, he speaks like her, he acts like her, he moves like her. And then I realized they were just learning from each other.